بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to be in the retreat, and one of the things that we normally do is we choose some theme and try to reflect on. I was thinking of different topics and discussed with some people. Then, reading a book, I came across this topic, and then I thought maybe that's a good topic to share. And that is to talk about what in our hadith is introduced as having high himma, having high ambition. Just as example, I mention 2-3 hadiths, and then I will try to reflect on this and explore the meaning of himma, the concept of himma, and see how we can benefit from this for our progress. In the famous khutbah of Muttaqeen, the answer that Amirul Mu'minin gave to Hammam when he asked Amirul Mu'minin to describe for him the pious, there is something that in some versions of this khutbah is mentioned, because we have it in Nahj al-Balagha, but also we have it in books of hadith. And these versions have similarities and overlap, but sometimes there are differences as well. Maybe in order to have a comprehensive account, you have to put them together. So Amir al-Mu'minin, when he talks about Muttaqeen, in the middle it reaches here. I wanted to mention only the part about himma, but I thought it's very relevant to start a little bit earlier. لا حقود ولا حسود. A pious person is not someone who keeps hatred in his or her heart towards other. He's not حقود from حقد. ولا حسود, and he's not jealous. ولا وثام ولا سباب ولا عياب ولا مغتاب. He is not someone that jumps to the face of people. Like imagine if there is a wild, for example, animal, jumps on the face and injures. A muttaqi is not like this. The muttaqi is not the person who is interested in confrontation and fighting. If needed, he defends, but he's not such a character that every day starts fighting with someone like that person in the time of Musa alayhi salam, that Musa was finding him fighting with different people. La sabbahum, he's not someone that swears at people, as Amir al-Mu'minin said in that famous khutbah during the Battle of Siffin. إِنِّي أَكْرَهُ لَكُمْ أَن تَكُونُوا سَبَّابِينَ. I don't like you to do sab, to say bad things to others. Even to the Muawiyah's army, the Imam didn't approve that they say bad words to the people in the Muawiyah army. Wala ayyabun, he's not someone who's looking for flaws and faults and guilts in people. وَلَا مُخْتَابٌ doesn't do backbiting. يَكْرَهُ الرِّفْعَةِ وَيَشْنَأُ السُّمْعَةِ doesn't like to be promoted in a worldly sense. It's not after fame and high position. It's not something that is interesting to him or her. If he really needs to be in a high position to serve, that's another issue. Like Amirul Mu'minin himself finally, of course, accepted to have that position. I mean, finally means after all this conclusion that this is what's needed. Because the things have changed a lot over 25 years, but they forced him to accept anyway. But it's not something that it's your first choice. It's not something that you volunteer, you love. وَيَشْنَأُ السُّمْعَةِ and doesn't like to be famous. طَوِيلُ الْغَمِّ has deep grief. In Arabic they say long, but maybe in English it's better to say deep. Deep grief means has great concerns, because a mu'min definitely has lots of concerns for humanity, for people, for truth. Ba'idul ham. This is what I wanted to refer to. Has high ambitions. Sometimes it's said ba'id, sometimes it's ali. Ulubul ham or himma or bu'dul ham or himma means to have high ambition. Means he is not interested in little things. Inshallah I will explain. Some people are like children, but just because of their age has increased, they have added to the ambition. If you ask a 2-3 years old child, what makes you really happy? Pardon? Yeah, a toy, a bar of chocolate. Yeah? So, sometimes we are also the same, just instead of a toy which is a few dollars, our toys can be a few $1,000. Yeah? So if you give a few dollars to a child, he becomes happy. If they give an adult few £1,000, he becomes happy. And there are people who are happy to do any work if you give them, high salary. So, this is not the way a mu'min is measuring things, evaluating things. Has very high ambitions. Kathiru samt. Also, you find a mu'min, a muttaqi, frequently silent. Because those who are serious, those who have ideas, who have plans, need to think. So they are silent. Vaqurun also is very dignified and does things, with careful attention. And then hadith country is very beautiful. So, this is one example. This hadith is about having high ambition. Another example which is also very famous is from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in some places, even in Sunni sources, it is reported from Imam Hussein salam, that he quoted this, something very similar to this. إن الله يحب معالي الأمور وأشرافها ويكره سفسافها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves high affairs, means things which are honorable and in a very high standard, not things which are very low and mean and or maybe just average. إن الله يحب معالي الأمور وأشرافها. So, inshallah, we will explain this, that this is not contradicting humility. You can be a very humble person, but you have high aims. This is not arrogance. This is actually what a mu'min should be. There is another hadith, and this is from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. بِالصَّبْرِ تُدْرَكُ مَعَالِ الْأُمُورِ. With patience, one can reach high measures, high things, high affairs. As-sabr. Okay. So, this is a notion that we have in our hadith. Of course, maybe not many hadiths exactly using the term ma'ali al-umur or ba'id al-himma or tabid al-ham, but the concept is there, and if you add to this also the hadith that we have about niyyah and how we should have abundant niyyah, waffir bilutfika niyyati, grow my niyyah. In Akhlaq series of the whole that we explain this, that your niyyah should be very far-reaching and there is no limit in what you can intend. There is limit in what you can do, but your niyyah should not be limited. So you can feed maybe 10 people, maybe 100 people, but when it comes to niyyah, why you don't make niyyah of feeding all people afterwards? Your heart must be large enough to have concern for all people. As we say in dua months of Ramadan, Allahumma aghni kulla faqir, Allahumma ashbi' kulla ja'i', Allahumma aksu kulla 'uryan. It means that you are such a person that you have concern for everyone. And in your niyyah you can be very inclusive. Maybe in action, you don't have that much resources, you have to prioritize, you have to start with the nearest or the most needy people. But in your niyyah, you can be including everyone. But of course, there is a condition. Anyone remembers, I don't know if you have listened to those lectures, that who would be rewarded for his or her inclusive niyyah? Yes, mashallah. If I can, let me give you an example. If I can feed 10 people and I feed them, but they make niyyah of feeding 11 people, 10 of them, I have fed them. One person I didn't feed because I had only for 10 people. Am I rewarded for that extra or not? I am rewarded. Yes? So, my niyyah was to feed 11 people. There was, for example, a group of 11 people. They needed food. My niyyah was to feed all of them. But when I distributed, I only managed to feed 10 people. Am I rewarded for the 11th? Yes. Okay? How much reward you get for feeding 10 people now? Pardon? No.
17.
17, why?
70.
70?
No, 70.
Why?
It says in the Quran.
Yeah, but we have 700, maybe you mean, huh?
Yes.
Yes. سنابل في كل سنبلة. Yes. The minimum is من جاء بالحسنة فله أشر أمثالها. So when you feed 10, you get 100. When you have intention for the 11, so you get only 1. So it will be 101. Okay? So there's a difference between what you actually manage to do and just what you intend. But if you had just said, let me see how many people I can feed. I can feed 10 and I make 10. I didn't make niyya for 11, so that I don't get that extra. Okay? Now, if I say I want to feed 1,000 people and I just managed to feed 10 people, how much reward I get? Pardon? So from this 10 you get 100 and then you have 990, so you get 1090. So you see, actually you have taken much more from your niyyah than what you have taken from your action. From action only 100, but from niyyah 990. But if you were able to feed 10 people and had fed 9 people and had niyyah of 1,000, how much you get? I think only 90. So just by feeding the last one that keeps you to the limit, you enter to a new calculation. After that, everything is just based on intention. But you have to make sure that you do your maximum. You see? So this is for people who do their best. If you do your best, then there is a new world open to you. You can just fly in that world based on your intention. So it's like the plane which is taking off. You go to your maximum power. After that you take off, then just based on your intention. And heaven has different characteristics. One major characteristic of heaven is what? One major characteristic of heaven is that in heaven you have what you want. Yes? Whatever you want, لَهُمْ مَا يَشَاءُونَ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِ الْأَنفُسُ. Whatever you like, you will have it in heaven. Why? Because in dunya you have passed the stage of doing what was available and you have gone to the sky of intentions. So, the hadith and ideas that we have about intention, if you add it to this issue of ulub wal himma, then it becomes a considerable collection of the hadith to reflect on. So about himma itself, maybe we don't have many hadiths, but with the intention, it becomes many. So let us have some reflection. I was thinking, if we want to count the factors that build our power. So where does power come for us? One group of factors is about material factors, worldly factors. Sometimes people think these are the only things that can give power, but this is only one group of factors. Okay? For example, imagine we have two teams who want to play football, or two groups who have competition, or na'udhu billah, if there is war, two armies who are fighting. One set of factors that can make one stronger than the other relates to the physical, material, worldly elements. Number of people, money, equipments, weapons, resources, buildings, I don't know, whatever they need, cars, if they need horses, whatever. These are all worldly factors that contribute to the power. And unfortunately, we many times think these are the only things, or we give greatest attention to these things. And if we see, for example, we are outnumbered, we lose our morale, or if you see we don't have the same equipment or whatever. The other factor which Quran very much emphasizes on is the factors which are supernatural, are not material. There are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put power in them, and you can utilize them. We had this series about empowering tools, spiritual aids and empowering tools, about maybe one and a half year ago in London. That there are tools that Allah has put power in them, like dua, like sadaqah, like tawakkul. These have also power. Or sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps with angels. He sends angels to help. But in addition to these two, we have also some internal, psychological, spiritual also factors for power. And I want to talk about this tonight. There are things inside us that if we manage to cultivate them, we can release lots of power. Or if we don't manage them properly, they can drain lots of our power. For example, suppose there's a student. A student is preparing himself for exam. Okay. To get good result, textbook is important, teacher is important, exercise is important, reviewing is important, taking notes is important, all are important. But if this student is very worried and stressful and nervous, even if he has the best teacher and textbook and notes, cannot get good results, because draining the energy. Or if his attention is very divided, cannot focus and concentrate. On the other hand, if he is very joyful and happy and confident and is very focused, can get very good results. So sometimes people or groups with the same material, physical factors of power, they function very much differently because of their internal conditions. Are they hopeful or fearful? Are they focused or not? There are many things here that can have impact. So, for us as rational people, as people who want to function as full human beings, we don't want just to function at the level of, our body. We want to mobilize and utilize all our energy and power and faculties. It's very important to explore this side of our resources that we have. I was thinking maybe we can list the things that we need inside us for success in this way. I'm not saying this is a comprehensive list, but when I was thinking, I could list these things. If you come across anything we can add to the list, please let me know. The first thing that we need in order to be using and utilizing our internal power to maximum is attention. It's very important, attention. Unfortunately, nowadays to have attention, especially focused and undivided attention, is very difficult because there are too many distractions. Too many, even sometimes too many good things. You can do many good things. I'm not talking about bad things, even good things. You go to internet, there are lots of good things also to enjoy. To remain focused, to remain attentive is not easy. But on the other hand, the value of our action, the value of our performance very much depends on attention. If I do something without attention, it doesn't have that much value. Then intention. First attention, then intention. In this time of the night, do you have attention or intention? You have both, inshallah. So, you are ambitious. Intention is also very important. Sometimes you have attention, but you don't have the best of intentions. There is no enlightened, educated, sincere intention. And intention has many different levels. We don't want to go into that discussion. In the series we talked about. The third, you have attention and intention, but there is something more which is needed, and that is determination. Yes, this is very, very important. And you remember in Aqaid we talked about ulul azm, that out of all people Allah has chosen 124,000 prophets, out of them 313 are Rasul, out of them 5 are the most outstanding, they are called ulul azm. Fasbir kama sabara ulul azm min ar-rusul. We talked about azm in some way. And azm is very, very important. And if you remember in one of the lectures, I mentioned this point that in future, I think the main battle would be battle of determinations. Who would be more determined? Anyone who is more determined, if they do other things properly, they can succeed. And the greatest challenge would be to remain determined. So willpower would be the most expensive thing, the most rare thing in future. Because we are making ourselves more and more weaker in our willpower. So, attention, intention, determination, then in my humble view comes ambition. Ambition comes here. Because with all these things, what do you want to achieve? Are you satisfied with little success? Or you want to achieve something great? You have to have this high ambition. You know the famous story that one alim, his son had gone to Jose. So he asked him, who is your mother? Who inspired you? What person you want to resemble? He said, I want to become like you. He said, I am very sorry for you. Because I wanted to follow Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, become like this. If you want to follow me, then you become nothing. So, we have to aim at high level so that either we reach that or at least we get a little lower than that. If the passing mark is, for example, 60, and you prepare yourself just to get 60, then there is a chance that you may get 50. But if you aim at getting A plus, I want to get 90, 95, 85. In the worst scenario, I want to get 80. Then either you get 80 or you get 70. Or at least you pass. But if from the beginning you aim at 60, you may not pass. So, we should not be aiming at something little. For example, living in this world today has lots of advantages, alhamdulillah, there are lots of good opportunities, but it's also difficult because there are too many distractions, too many ways to go wrong. Yeah? You can go wrong very easily. There are lots of ways to go wrong. If we just aim at being a mu'min, say, my aim is inshallah to be an average, ordinary mu'min, not to commit any sin, to perform my wajibat, to look after my family. If you just aim at this, you may not get this, or you maximum may get this. You don't get higher. But if you say, I want to be so strong that I want to inspire other mu'minin in this part of the world. I want to be an example for other people. I want to make my family exemplar. Then it has big impact on your performance. And also this means that you are confident. You are not too worried and fearful. You know, it automatically raises you above a stress level. In the Quran we have this beautiful dua. هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ. Not just give us children who say prayer and fast. We want children to have these children that they are qurrat. They are light of our eyes وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. We want to be leaders, leading figures for other muttaqin. So you have to aim at something higher. In addition to attention and intention and determination and ambition, you need also to work hard. You cannot be, na'uzubillah, sorry I say this, you cannot be lazy and just say because I have high ambition, I am going to succeed. من أراد الآخرة وسعى لها سعيها وهو مؤمن فأولئك كان سعيهم مشكورا. أراد الآخرة. In أراد الآخرة there is attention, intention and ambition. But you must work hard if you want to get this level of success. You must make proportionate efforts. سعادها سعيها. You must make relevant, proportionate efforts for that. And Allah says, أولئك كان سعيهم مشكورا. These are the people that their efforts are thanked. Means Allah would appreciate and would help them. So, we have to work hard. What is next? Yes, very good. Persistence. Because sometimes we have all these things, but for a short period of time. I have been 1 year, 2 years in KLC. It's enough. I had intention, attend everything I had, but 2 years, as if it's 2 centuries. 2 years is nothing. With 4 or 5 hours per week. Yes, it's like there is an ocean, and you have just washed your face. You have to go and swim this ocean of knowledge. So, persistence is very important. You should not quickly switch off. Alhamdulillah, we talked about persistence before, but maybe some people joined later. So from the beginning of KLC, we had emphasis on istiqamah. إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا. Not just إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله. If you say ربنا الله 1 day, 1 month, angels don't come to you. But إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة. Then the angels come down to them. ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون. Istiqamah is very important. أَلَّا اسْتَقَامُوا عَلَى الطَّرِيقَةِ لَأَسْقَيْنَاهُمْ مَاءً غَدَقًا. If they were persistent on the path, we would have given them abundant water. So persistence is very important. There is a poem in Arabic in Adab al-Muta'allamin. There is a book in Jamo al-Muqaddamat, the very first book that we studied in the Hawza. Then on the margins there was a book, Adab al-Muta'allamin, manners for the students. And there was a poem there. It says, Man qara' baban walajja walaj. من قرع بابا ولج ولج. whoever knocks at door and is insistent enters the door. If you knock at door, don't just knock once or twice. Next, if you know that what you want is there, you must knock so many times that they finally open. Because they know that there are people who just knock the door out of adventure or curiosity. They don't open for them. If they see someone is insistent, like when Amir al-Mu'minin salam was in bed and he was not in a good condition. So he said to Imam Hassan to tell people to go. They had gone to visit him. But Sa'sa'at ibn Suhan couldn't go. And then said, "I know, I told you Amir al-Mu'minin said go." He said, "I could not go." So he had tawfiq to go inside and visit Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. If he was not persistent, he would not have had this tawfiq. There is a story that Akhund Mullah Hussain Quli Hamadani was a very great Arif, and after him then we have this line which leads to Ayatollah Qazi Tabatabai and then Allama Tabatabai Ayatollah Bahjat. So they say Akhund Mullah Hussain Quli Hamadani was inspired by a bird. He was feeling that he's not getting what he wants. He's not achieving. Then he saw a bird is trying to take something from a very dry piece of bread. It's very dry. He saw this bird tried tens of times till managed to break a little and take. So he said, I should not be less than this bird. This little bird is persistent and keeps trying and finally got what he wants. Or they say Sakaki, when he was middle-aged or more than middle-aged, started learning. Because he used to be Sakak. He used to make knife and this type of things. And he was making very good knives and was gifting, for example, to the king and governors. So one day he was with the king, and then an alim entered, scholar. And he saw the king has great respect for that alim. So he said, why I don't become alim? Of course, this may not be a good reason, or I don't know how he looked at it, but we don't judge. He decided in that age to learn and become alim. He said, I should change it. But he was not young. So he was taking lessons but not learning. One day he went outside city and sat near a place that water was leaking. He saw these drops of water which come down have made a hole in a stone. Just water. So he said, I am not less than water and my brain is not harder than stone. So if this water with continuing and persistence can have impact on the stone, knowledge can also have some impact on my brain. And he became a great scholar, and he has a book Miftahul Ulum on different sciences in Arabic. So persistence is also very important. And after you exhaust all your power in this, then I am sure if such a person asks Allah for help, if such a person puts his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he calls upon awliyaullah and does tawassul, such person, then he will get the answer. Not a lazy person, not a person who is not persistent, not a person who doesn't have right intention or ambition. A person who has gone all this way, if he calls upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help, he will definitely get the help. So, for us, it's very important to make sure that if we cannot change the world outside, at least inside us, in our internal world, we put things in the right order and shape. We get rid of any unnecessary worries and stress and fear. We don't let ourselves to be satisfied with little things, and inshallah then we can be successful. And I am sure you yourself have had this experience that depending on your condition, internal condition, the way you overcome problems can be very different. The same issue. For example, when you are very happy and you go to the work, many problems may happen, but because you are internally happy and satisfied, you overcome problems. But if the day that you are not happy, little things can challenge you and sometimes can break you. Your internal condition is very important. So, what is ambition? I thought maybe we can explain or define it in this way. To aim at something high, I'm not saying forget realities. You have to be realistic. But at the same time that you are realistic, don't be pleased with little things. Especially when it comes to virtues, don't compromise. Okay? About virtues, don't compromise. Aim at something high. Try to release maximum internal energy and try to gain inner peace and tranquility and raise yourself above the level of challenges. This is also very important. You know, sometimes a person who is new to teaching, for example, you go to a classroom. Because you are not very confident, you are not experienced, as soon as a person asks a question, you get nervous. And if they ask difficult questions, you think, oh, they want to damage me. Why you ask this question? You wanted to prove to others that I am not capable. But if you are confident, if you don't look at them as challenge, as enemies, as opponents, with the same level of knowledge that you have, you can much better handle these problems, these questions, these challenges. And even sometimes reaches the point that you actually thank them that they have asked such a good question, because they gave you the chance to explain something more. Those who are established teachers, they love people who ask good questions. If I aim at something high, then little things would not easily disturb me and challenge me. Because I am in a higher level. I read a good example somewhere. The example was about a bird. When a bird flies up to a low height, then there are many challenges. Many animals or maybe human beings, children can, shoot arrows, whatever, and harm this bird or even kill. But if the bird can go higher and higher, then becomes safer and safer. If I am operating at the level of, for example, a mosque, my aim is to be, for example, in charge of this mosque. I am very vulnerable. If I aim at something higher, then I am less vulnerable. If I aim at something above dunya, I am less vulnerable. So, therefore, I thought maybe we can say to have ambition or high ambition is not only aiming at something high, but is also helping to raise your internal energy, not to let anything drain your energy, and gain such peace and tranquility because you are above the level of being challenged. Finally, inshallah, we can continue this discussion tomorrow. Sorry, no, I think we have on Sunday. Is to emphasize on two things. We have internal source of energy and we have external source of energy. Even knowledge is like this. You have some innate knowledge inside you. We were discussing with some of Christian friends the topic of inspiration. And I said, sometimes we see even a person who is not faithful makes, for example, a very good poem, makes a good point. Where does the inspiration come? If he's not faithful, the question, where does the inspiration come? Because we normally think inspiration should come from God. Of course, it's not impossible that God sometimes inspires a person who is not a believer, but normally He doesn't inspire bad people. But there are sometimes even bad people who have very good poems. So, my conclusion was this. I said, there is some reserve of knowledge and wisdom inside every human being. Whether they become good or bad, Allah has put some reserve of knowledge and wisdom there. And there is unlimited reserve with Him. إِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا عِندَنَا خَزَائِنُهُ. Some people just manage to benefit from that internal reserve. And there's a limit to that reserve. They can say new things, but there's a limit. But if they manage to get connected to that unlimited reserve of wisdom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, that will be totally different. For example, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, with some of his companions in the plain of Arafat on the day of Arafah, starts praying then it becomes tens of pages of Dua Araf. This inspiration cannot come from that limited reserve inside. That's enough maybe for a few lines of wise ideas, maybe a few pages. But this is connected to unlimited. Munajat Sha'baniya, Dua Abu Hamza, just flows. This is connection to that unlimited reserve of wisdom. So, for our success, we need to do two things. To release the energy that we have, and by being focused and persistent, not let anything be wasted. Like laser, that you focus and don't let anything be wasted. But also, if you are doing this, you can then expect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also would assist you with unlimited reserve that He has. I don't see there is any chance for such a person to fail. If your aim was dunya, you can fail. But if your aim is above dunya, you cannot fail. When you do everything in this way and you are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no chance of failure. Kataballahu la'aglabanna ana wa rasul. This is registered, this is finalized, this is decisive, that Allah and messengers and those who are at the service of the message, they are successful. No way to fail. In level of dunya, we can have success and failure. But when you go above dunya, there is no failure. If you want to fight army with army, like Imam Hussein's army and Yazid army, okay, maybe army of Imam is failing. But if you are not functioning at this level, then you will not be defeated, because you are aiming at something higher. Even if you are in a physical, militant sense, defeated. Okay, I stop here. Inshallah, we can continue. And if you have any ideas, questions, please share with me, or before I start next time I ask you, so that we can develop this inshallah together. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.